serve two, you'll need two medium-sized leeks, just the white parts, well washed and thinly sliced, one large potato, peeled and relatively thinly sliced, 240 ml, 8 fluid ounces of milk, 240 ml, 8 fluid ounces of vegetable or chicken stock, 120 ml, 4 fluid ounces of double cream, salt, white pepper and fresh chives for garnish. Place the leeks, potatoes, milk, stock and a little salt and pepper in a medium-sized saucepan, and you need to bring that to a rolling simmer over a medium heat. Try and use white pepper because it looks better in the finished dish. When it comes to the vegetables, try and cut them relatively thinly so that they're not going to take an age to cook. Once that's come to a rolling simmer, just reduce the heat a little, give it a good stir, cover and cook for 15 to 20 minutes or until the potatoes are really tender. After 15 or 20 minutes, check that the potatoes are really soft and tender. And by really tender, I mean that when you push a fork into the potato, it literally just falls to pieces quite easily. So once the potato is at that stage, you need to remove the pan from the heat, turn the heat off, and just stir it a little, breaking it up, because you need to cool it before you puree it. Not too much. Now you can either transfer this to a blender or you can use a handheld immersion blender and just puree it until it's really, really smooth. Once it's very smooth, let's just get rid of this. Stir in the cream. Stir that in really well. Taste the soup for seasoning. And if necessary, add a little more salt and white pepper. Do make sure that you use salt because the flavours of this soup are really brought out with the use of salt. Otherwise it's going to taste very bland indeed. Now, although this is a very simple soup, in order to serve the perfect vichyssoise, you have to remember three main points. First of all, the seasoning, which I've already touched on. Secondly, the soup has to be very, very smooth. And in my experience, it's not possible to get that smoothness even using a blender. So at this stage, it needs to be passed through a sieve. So in I go with the soup. Use a fine meshed sieve. It really is worth doing this extra step. This also aids the quick cooling of the soup before it's refrigerated. Which brings me on to the last point about serving the perfect vichyssoise, and that is the temperature at which it's served. It should be well chilled, but if you serve it too cold, all these delicate flavours will be totally lost and you'll just end up eating what will probably seem a very boring and bland soup. So once it's all gone through, I could stand here for another 15 minutes trying to get that last bit through, but it just goes to show how smooth it wasn't that I've got this much left. And as you can see, it is really smooth. If for some reason your soup has turned out much thicker, then at this point just add either a little more cream or even milk, just to get it to the right consistency of pouring thick double cream. So allow it to cool at room temperature, then cover with cling film and refrigerate for at least 2 hours. Remove it from the fridge about 20 minutes before you're ready to serve, so that it can take the chill off it a little. Give it a good stir and transfer to soup bowls or plates. And garnish with some freshly chopped chives. Classic Vichyssoise soup, perfect for warm summer days.